like you, if you take nootropics, I get criticized for taking nootropics. I've been getting criticized for 7 years, as long as I've been taking nootropics. Then when I told my friends and family and associates I was going to build a commercial stack, I got criticized more, because that's how people are. And I'm sure you get criticized too, and I want to give you some arguments that you can use to defend yourself against people who criticize you for taking nootropics. Number one, realize that most people that, if not all, it might actually be 100% of the people that criticize you about nootropics are uninformed about the brain. Uninformed about the brain, right? They haven't read any neuroscience books. They couldn't tell you like what the anterior cingulate cortex is or does, the prefrontal cortex, an easy one, the amygdala, the hippocampus. They don't, if you ask them what those things are and what they do, guarantee they can't tell you. So for your own psyche and validation, understand you're dealing with people that literally don't understand basic neurological anatomy and function, which sort of negates their position to be able to tell you that nootropics aren't good or whatever they think about nootropics. That's number one. Number two, in line with number one, most folks don't quite understand neurotransmitter degradation. You know, why a 49-year-old mom can't remember things that her son told her 2 minutes ago. She's having neurotransmitter degradation. She's getting older. People don't recognize that happens. Nootropics are a way to alleviate that over time. Nootropics seem to be a way to prevent or just to fend off the neurodegeneration over time. At least that's my contention, and that's people that take nootropics' contention. That by supplying precursors to neurotransmitters, you can keep them functioning optimally, keep levels optimal of neurotransmitters, and that's a good thing. So folks just have no idea about neurotransmitter degradation. That's number two. Number three, an easy one. I think folks need to really bring up the comparison between caffeine and nootropics in the realm of mechanisms. Caffeine binds to a neurotransmitter receptor, causes it to do something, and then that causes you to stay awake. It prevents tiredness. That's no different than uridine that also affects a neurotransmitter receptor, dopamine, and modulates it. And then you get a result from it. Wakefulness, memory functionality, motivation, etc. So there really isn't all that much different. Although there are subtle details that are different between caffeine and uridine, it's really the same concept. What's the real difference, and why do people think that nootropics are weird compared to caffeine? Well, caffeine's in every store everywhere you go. You know, places have whole stands dedicated to caffeine. It's the #1 drug in the world. The #1 smart drug. The #1 nootropic is caffeine, period. So you have to draw that conclusion and let people know, look, caffeine binds to a receptor site called adenosine receptors, provokes a response, and then you get the caffeine response. That's it. Nootropics, a lot of them do the same thing. So that's number three. Number four, I think the whole thing that people that talk negatively about nootropics negate is the well-documented instances of people that have health problems that cause their brain not to work well. Right? That there is, provingly neurophysiological malfunctions in a variety of systems from disease states: fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, chronic fatigue syndrome, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, sleep apnea, whatever, right? I'm sure you can name some. They all change how the brain works and how neurotransmitters function. And you can affect them, you can affect the functionality of the brain in a lot of instances within those disease states by taking nootropics. I know many people that email me and say, man, I have chronic fatigue syndrome, or I don't sleep all that well, or I've got this health problem, or I have medication to reduce brain fog, and your product helps, the Cortex product, a lot. It changes my life. And so folks that are bringing forth an argument about nootropics being a bad thing, you have to pose them with the hypothetical. What would you do if you could not function well or normally under normal conditions every day because you had a health problem that was messing with your brain? Would you take a supplement that's natural or a drug that's relatively safe to have quality of life and feel normal again? Or would you rather just sit there debilitated like a vegetable? You have to put people in these type of situations so that they truly understand. And lastly, I think we're on number 5. Nootropics for performance enhancement, which is what a lot of us take nootropics for. I take nootropics for really all these reasons. Is not some sort of thing that makes you a cheater compared to the regular human being, a regular person, because you take nootropics. Compared to other people who just use sleep and exercise or whatever to function well. It doesn't make you a cheater whatsoever. It actually makes you far more adept and advanced and consciously sort of cautious and preventative of degradation later on, and trying to keep your brain optimal right now. That's not cheating. Is it cheating for the woman to have developed nerve growth factor? An Italian woman who won a Peace Prize because of it, and drop it in her eyeballs because that's the way you get it to cross the blood-brain barrier, for 30 years until she lived to 113 in pristine cognitive form and then died? You know, is that cheating? You have to pose people with these type of examples. Her name is Rita Levi Montalcini. Google her, watch her YouTube videos. She's incredible. She's dead now, but I mean, incredible. But you have to bring these examples to people so they understand. They're missing perspective and information, like we said in number 1. Does anyone think that Ray Kurzweil, the futurist who takes a bunch of 200-something supplements a day and now works at some super senior level position in Google, is cheating because he takes all those supplements? Because guess what? One of the supplements that he takes is alpha GPC, a nootropic. Another, carnitine, L-carnitine. Another, intravenous phosphatidylcholine. These are nootropics. A futurist, super successful guy, futurist, worldly revered. So you got to put these examples to people and understand that what, in conclusion, I believe that we are on the cusp of something critically important. We are on the cutting edge of evolution as it relates to nootropics. We don't know everything we need to know, that's for sure. And side effects are prevalent in the nootropics realm, no question about it. That's why you have to get your dose right, get your cofactors right, all this sort of things. Don't take modafinil at 7 p.m., you're not going to sleep. But everything has drawbacks. And a lot of us are achieving very particular things that are good outcomes. I'm sure you guys know who Dave Asprey is. That dude dealt with various instances of chronic fatigue or fatigue from what he claims to be mycotoxins and other environmental things, among other things. The guy takes nootropics, he functions better. You know, took modafinil for 8 years and whatever. Aniracetam likes to talk about functions better. You know, and there's stories like that all across the board. I've been able to double my productivity, triple my productivity in a variety of instances. I know which smart drugs to take or which nootropics to take for which situations. And, you know, as a result, I'm an entrepreneur. I build companies for a living. And I've done, I mean, everybody has their problems, but I've done great over the last, I've been an entrepreneur for about 8 years. I've done great. Started companies, built companies, made them successful, bootstrapped them, didn't raise money for those companies, put my own, basically no money in there, started from scratch to build them. And yeah, I'm a smart guy, I'm quick-witted, I read a lot, and I'm motivated, but I've taken nootropics most of the time too, consciously trying to optimize my brain. Not a bad thing. So we are on the edge of something very, very great, I think, with nootropics, and trying to preserve brain function, stave off neurodegeneration over time, and improve brain performance now. So if people give you crap for taking nootropics, most of the time they have no idea what they're talking about. They don't understand brain anatomy, brain physiology, even simple level stuff. They don't understand neurotransmitter degradation. They're not thinking about disease states which cause brain fog or medication-induced brain fog, which you might be able to alleviate and have quality of life from nootropics. And they are not looking at Italian Nobel laureates and futurists and their inclination to use nootropics to make their lives function, their brains function better, their lives better. World-renowned people. I hope you enjoyed the video. snag a bottle of the Cortex Nootropic stack. Support the broadcast. This is our stack. Great stack. Uridine monophosphate, CDP choline primary ingredients. Uridine's like a super nootropic. It's like we tried to mimic low dose to medium dose modafinil with this stack. It's pretty close. Pretty close. Get a bottle at livecortex.com. You'll love it, but either way, buy a bottle to support the broadcast. And use those arguments for ammunition. Talk to you later.